Session we go then, and it's Stevens 32 points to the good.
Oh, he's found the gap. He'll be on the black. I don't know what he's looking to the pink for, because he's got to get that black away from the pocket as quickly as possible, because all the reds go into that one. So one good shot here, and this is a good chance. That's good.
Yes, that was one of those shots where you have no idea where they're going to end up, but you knew that any sort of kiss on those first two reds, you're bound to be on a number of reds, and he played it perfectly. Kissed that out of the way. He's on a choice of 3 reds, and as Terry just mentioned, should win the frame from here now. And 5-3 will be pretty respectable the way this session has gone.
Good.
He's having a bit of fun there. I think somebody had a cough or something in the front row. Oh, he's had a bad contact.
Sure.
Either that or he's hit it bad. He's out of position. He's already missed the black of the spot in this frame early on when he made a break of 32.
16.
And when they're all sitting in front of you like these reds are, you feel the only thing that could go wrong is a bad contact.
Yeah, Matthew may have missed a trick there.
16.
I mean, he was perfectly on the black a couple of shots ago. Okay, he may have got a bad contact, but he needed to be further in the middle of the table. Ryan Day has a great chance now. Okay, it's 48 behind, but Matthew knows that could be his last shot in this session.
One. Sure. 6.
Of course, Ryan was 48 points down when he visited the table this time. He's still got a lot to do, but as Willie said, they're well placed. Matthew would definitely be thinking in his chair that Ryan's going to clear up, but
7.
when you're out there playing and you're the man on the table, sometimes that's all you see in front of you is problems, but Ryan hasn't been doing that today. He's had a very good session. I would be absolutely delighted if he cleared up here.
14.
Yes, Matthew Stevens hung on to his coattails, didn't he, in the opening session? He started with an 86 and looked in perfect form. Since then, he's just disappeared
15.
somewhat. I mean, he should have lost the 3 of the first 4 frames. He pinched frame 4 with a 49 break from behind. And in every one of these frames, he's had a chance. It's not like Ryan Day's completely dominated the session. He's had a chance, but he's needed more than one.
That's brought another
22.
red into play.
$23.
Spoke to a few people about this match. Of course, it's all Welsh clash, and most people are saying it's difficult to predict a winner, and may still be, but tell you something, if you get a 6-2 first session lead,
30.
It's difficult then for your opponent to get back.
Yeah, when you're 6-2 behind, it's hard to see yourself winning a session 7-1, so you know it's going to take you at least a session and a half to get that 4 frames back.
$35. $36.
Well, he gave himself half a chance to miss that one then at that pace.
Yes, he's got rid of the difficult one now, hasn't he? That was the only red that looked to be a stumbling block, but as you rightly say, he took a chance with playing at the pace he did, but he's finished absolutely perfect. Doesn't really want to be worried about the pink, because pink to red is difficult. He wants to get onto the green or brown, probably. He's decided to come up with the blue, which is just as good. Not the greatest of shots, that, though. At least he can get a little bit closer to the red.
$44.
Just 4 points the difference now then, and that is break on 44.
I won't blame him this time playing up for the pink, but he's going to come very close to the blue in playing this screw back, so he doesn't want to kiss the blue. Oh, goodness me, Ronnie. I think he was concentrating, Terry, on not kissing the blue. How has he missed the red?
Changed his mind. I think he went down there with one plan and got up and decided to go and screw the cue ball back. Still a shot he'll regret if he loses this frame.
Could be a massive turning point for me, that. I think he thought, well, if I put it in the middle of the pocket, I'm going to kiss the blue. So I'll try and put it in left-hand side of the pocket and completely miss-hit it. Meantime, Matthew's played a wonderful safety shot. And somehow he's got to hit it and get safe. And that's not a certainty.
And he's put his hand up as if he was unlucky. The truth of it is he just missed an easy red, and he knows it. It's the type of shot Ryan Day plays with ease, those reds he missed, screwing it back into balk with his power.
Well, the only thing that can go wrong here is in off in the middle if he misses that. He can get right up to the business end, which is the balk end at this stage. And now, Matthew, can you hold yourself together and come out of this session 5-3?
And it's always more likely when you can hold for the yellow like that. But he hasn't come at a great angle, but looks like we're going to play it left-handed. Needs to get this one dead right. He's screwing across the brown to get on the green.
$8.
He's done 100 breaks with his left hand in practice, but it's a little bit different here. Made a good job of it. Would like it to be another inch or so to the right, the cue ball. But after what's gone before in this frame, he'd be pleased to be in this position, that's for sure.
How did that go in? A fraction harder, he would have missed that. He's really struggling out there, Matthew. Look at that. A fraction harder, that would have gone in.
Quietly, please.
Somebody, a bit of movement on the other side of the auditorium. Matthew knows that this is frame ball, and somehow he's gone out of this session 5-3.
15.
Yes, whichever you look at it, what happens in between doesn't really matter. It's the score at the end of the session that counts. And with that pink win in, Marcus Stevens has pinched that frame. Ryan Day had his chance, but Ryan Day takes a 5-3 lead into tonight's second session.
Yes, I'm sure Matthew very pleased to nick that one at the end. So that's only 2 frames in it when it might have been 6-2 to Ryan Day. But you've got to say, Ryan Day, Steve, that by far the stronger of the 2 players this morning. Some excellent break building from him.
Yes, but you know, from Ryan Day's perspective, knowing perhaps he did have the best of the session, he will be absolutely destroyed that he didn't win that last frame. The difference between 6-2 and 5-3 seems massive, and actually from Matthew Stevens' perspective, he knows he was fighting a bit of an uphill battle. He'll be absolutely delighted to get away. It's just small fractions, but they can make all the difference when it gets to the nitty-gritty part at the end. So, you know, a 3-session match, if you come out 5-3 in front, it's a lead, but it's nowhere near as much as it could be.
I think we're probably all agreed that Ryan Day's participation in the quarterfinals is something of a surprise given his recent form, but he's proven why he's more than a worthy player in this last 8 with 5 centuries. Only Neil Robertson's made 5 so far, and he's knocking them in from everywhere.
Yes, well, he's a very, very talented player, and we've been waiting for Ryan Day to come of age, it seems, for quite a while, and you know, perhaps this is the time. And all players mature at different times. Some of the world champions we've seen in the past sort of hit at 21, 22, 23. It doesn't always mean that you're past it if you're older than that. But Ryan Day in full flow is a very powerful, strong player. Sometimes they've questioned his tactical nous, but I mean, somewhere down the line you get it all right, and you know, perhaps this is going to be his world championship. Indeed,
because what's been so significant about his first couple of matches is, as the games have progressed, he seems to have got stronger the longer they've gone on against Ding Junhui and Xiao Yupeng as well. That was a real significant feature, I felt, of those games.
Yes, it was. Perhaps a different match play against a good mate.
Yeah.
Perhaps has its bearing, but could help. You don't know which one it helps and hinders. But he's up against, obviously, a player with vast talent as well. Whilst we look at the Ronnie O'Sullivans, the Judd Trumps and people like that, these 2 lads are no slouches by any means.
Absolutely, and they'll be back for the second session along with Maguire and Hendry this evening at 7 o'clock. But now we are anticipating a fair bit of noise and excitement. Well, what else would you expect with a rocket about to take off into a storm of thunder generated from down under? Oh yes, the countdown is almost complete for O'Sullivan against Robertson.
If you were to tell me how I would have played in my first 2 matches, I definitely would have taken it. You know, I scored really heavily in my opening 2 games.
I'm just pleased to be in the tournament, and you know, form, you know, it's just on the day really. You know, if we all played to the top of our form every day, you'd have the same results every time. But it's not like that. One day you can play out your skin, and the next day you're not so good, and you know, your opponent can.
In time, you do have to learn a B game. You know, you do have to learn how to play good safety, because you can't always rely on just potting balls from lampshades all the time, which is the only way I used to play. I just used to go for everything. But to beat the top players when they play well, you've got to develop a safety game as well. And you know, I think mine is just about as good as anyone's now.
I think he's probably the most improved player of the last 3 or 4 years. You know, won this world title, and he's worked on his tactical side of his game. He's become an all-round player, great cueist, great temperament. So for me, he is the man that you're going to have to beat to win this title.
I can't really afford to have those kind of off sessions against the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan, especially when it gets down to the quarter-final stages. Hopefully I can play a little bit better and progress through the quarters and make the semi-finals.
There's a long way to go. It's a long tournament. There's still 8 great players left in there. I believe anybody can win it.
So I'm in the comm box with the men who are going to put the words over the pictures this afternoon, John Virgo and Dennis Taylor. And John, it's fair to say this quarter-final, well, you've got to say it's the marquee match.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if there's 2 better cueists in the game now, at this present day, well, I don't know who they are, because Neil Robertson I have great respect for, and the way Ronnie's just been queuing his last match, and it's England-Australia. What could be better?
Absolutely. And Dennis, what about the record against each other?
Well, Ronnie's won 7 times and Neil's won 3 times. The big match was 5 years ago here. Ronnie beat him 13-10, and that was a close match. But he's beaten Ronnie in the World Open just 18 months ago. So he beat him 5-1. So the way they're both playing is very difficult to pick. I just hope they both play at the top of the game, because I can't wait for this one to start.
I think that was impressive for me, John, was the Masters performance from Robertson. I think we saw a different side of his game there. Probably wasn't scoring as well as he could, but his all-round match play was exceptional.
Yeah, and I think he's just a complete player now, and he can raise his game. You know, he did against Judd Trump in that semi-final match to go on and win the Masters, and he'll treat this, with the way Ronnie's playing, as a great challenge. And you know what these Aussies are like. Oh
yeah, they can stick in there all right. And as for Ronnie, I think the biggest thing all week has been focus. He's looked very focused all the way through, Dennis.
Totally relaxed. I've never seen him so relaxed, and I think this game's going to be down to a lot of the long potting and who's going to get in first. Neil Robertson, we know, one of the greatest potters we've ever had, but Ronnie's knocking the long ones in as well. It's just a fascinating tussle.
It certainly is. Look forward to listening to you this afternoon, and Rob, it's all over to you.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We've already had some amazing stories unfolding at this year's Betfred.com World Snooker Championship, and 2 more are about to get started. It's quarter-final time, so let's get the boys on the bays. Please welcome a player whose debut run here at the Crucible is causing quite a stir. He's already knocked out Shaun Murphy and Andrew Higginson. He's beginning to show the class many knew he'd had for a long time. This is without doubt the biggest match of his career so far. The pride of Neath, the Welsh warrior, Jamie Jones. And his opponent, what a turnaround in health and form over the last few months. From talk of retirement to another Crucible quarter-final. His comeback from 12-9 down against Judd Trump yesterday was amazing. This is his 4th appearance in the last 8. He's flying high. He's the captain. He's Alec Carter. And now please welcome a player who has shown touches of absolute brilliance here over the last 10 days. Solid against Ebden, sublime against Williams. His break of 128 on Sunday brought the Crucible crowd to their feet in amazement. 3 times a champion here. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan! And finally, please welcome a player who's made a huge impact on the game since arriving from Australia. One of the best long potters in the business. He's beaten Ken Doherty and David Gilbert so far, and he'll be relishing the heat of this bigger battle. Champion here in 2010. Can you hear the thunder from down under, Neil Robertson?
So here we go, we'll be dipping in and out of the Carter-Jones match too, and it is live all the way on the red button and online. But right now, sit back with the biscuits and a cuppa and just savour what is on offer on table 2. Dennis, John, they're smiling and joking, but serious business now. This one's worthy of the final itself.
Yes, couldn't agree with you more, Hazel. And this packed audience here at the Crucible, filled with anticipation. Let's just have a look how they've been going through the tournament. Pot success. Oh, look at that, 93%. If they both produce that sort of pot success, what a match we're in for. Long pot success, that's very good. I think anything over 65% is good. Safety, well, yeah, Ronnie's just up on that score. And of course, high breaks, they just roll off these two players' cues. But it could be about who's going to take those chances, Dennis.
Yeah, very importantly, who's going to win the little tactical battles to see who can get in amongst the balls. That's going to play quite a part as well. It's okay, I've been able to pot them when you get in, but you've got to get yourself in. Because you can't see these players, if they do get in, making careless mistakes. Just have a look at that safety. Okay, you can go into the side of the bunch, but the pace was perfect from Neil Robertson there. Oh, that looks to be touching.
It's touching ball, Neil.
Which helps Neil Robertson.
Touching.
You would think Neil would try and, well, just touching ball's been declared, but he's having a look to see if he could possibly pot that red just to the left of the pink into the left middle.
Touching ball.
That's 3 times he's told you.
So it's definitely touching then, John, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you'd think the natural path would be to try and get back in behind the green, but you can see there's so many reds making it awkward bridging. So just concentrate on getting a good length with the cue ball.
Well, it's not bad, although there is a couple of possible pots, but they're very risky and no guarantee of position. And had he have missed the brown, he would have been tight on that ball cushion. So it is a nice little tactical battle we're watching from these two brilliant break builders. It's fascinating to see who's going to make the first mistake. Brown and yellow are a terrific target to get in behind if you've got the correct angle to do that. But that's another excellent return safety shot from the Australian. Good pace again with the cue ball. And this time it's not as straightforward to get back down the table. There's a few obstacles to negotiate. Certainly going down that right side of the table. That's why he's having to think a little bit about this. He's just having a look to see if he took the pot on to the left corner. Could he play it in such a way he could leave himself on the black and maybe just at the same time play a safety shot. I'm sure that's what he's looking at. That's what he's looking at, the right side of the table, and he might be able to take the pot on and get on the black. Yeah. Look at this shot. Okay, he's not on the black, but what a pot. I say he's not on the black, he can pot this, but what a terrific long red this was.
Well, they don't come much better than that, do they? I mean, Ronnie couldn't have played a better safety shot. The length.
Now that is very unlucky. He's hampered with one red. He's covered the one that's headed up past the middle pocket. That couldn't have turned out much worse. So all he's going to get from that terrific opening pot is 8 points. See, just looking at the position of the cue ball on the red, he can play thin off it, but I don't think he can get in behind the yellow and brown. He'd love to be able to do that, but I think he's got to leave it near the cushion, and it'll be closer to the pocket than the two colours. He might have left a possible pot here. But it's a risky one. That red to the left corner, he'd go careering into the two reds and the black. But if there's no easy safety, he might take it. But I think he can come down the left side of this red and play a safety shot. And it's a pretty good one by the looks of things.
And just a little rub on the green has made it absolutely perfect. And it needs to be, because that opening red from Neil Robertson, as I say, Ronnie couldn't have played a better safety shot, and that puts pressure on you, doesn't it, when you're playing against a potter such as Neil. And the same for Neil Robertson, of course. He knows what Ronnie's capable of. Typical opening frame of a match, and what a beautifully played shot that was. Exquisite. And the tap on the table from Ronnie in appreciation.
Yeah, both players have been tapping the table when they've come to it because of the excellence of the safety shots. Good stuff, this. Who's going to slip up first?
Just too thick on that red. And he certainly left a pot on for Neil when he can get his hand on the table.
Got a choice of reds. I think he's going to take the one into the right corner and find the gap past the black. Not the first red. He's taking the other one. And he's found the gap. Well, the kiss is not very favourable again. Unless that pink goes into the middle pocket. And even then it wouldn't be easy. Well, the pink doesn't even pass the red, so he was a bit unlucky there. I think he thought he might have avoided the red and pink and would have finished on the blue. But once he got the kiss, could have worked out a bit better than that.
Neil Robertson won.
There's not a lot of room around the table, particularly at the two-table situation. Here's it. Aye, aye. What's happening? But very tense opening frame this, and even though these matches are still best of 25 frames, but so important to get a good start and just relax into the match. But the safety play so far has been excellent, but Ronnie's not risking trying to get back to port this time, just coming around off the 2 cushions, nestle up to these 2 reds. He didn't feel as though it was worthwhile trying to get the cue ball back to the balk area. Didn't feel as though he could get it safe.
He just had an anxious look there. He thought he might have found the gap to let Neil cut the one into the right middle pocket, but it's covered. He's got to play off the one to the right of the cue ball, because if he played off the other one, he could quite easily leave that on. That's going close to the corner pocket. I'm just going to pull up in time. Now can Ronnie put in a telling safety? Will he risk coming off those 3 reds and try and get down behind? Well, his target would be the green. Let's see how he plays this one. Cause it a little on the thin side, and that's the reason he's left a possible pot. But once again, no easy position. He's looking at this one into the middle pocket, but that doesn't look on. Can't see a gap if he takes the pot on to the right corner. The black pots into the same pocket as the red. He'd have to somehow screw over to the left side of the table. Well, he's taking the straight one because of that. Neil Robertson special. Straight in the heart of the pocket. He really does pot those so well. I mean, you've got to push that cue through in a perfectly straight line.
Well, this is a good chance to show you that's the nature of snooker. No matter how good you are, and we know how well Ronnie O'Sullivan's been playing, but he's not had even a sniff of a potting chance so far in this opening frame. And if he could get position on the black, which he may deem too risky to play on, then that would really make this into a frame-winning opportunity. But in the meantime, he's got the pink nicely in the open.
That opening shot was a bit special. It was a stun shot, as you can see. Watch the white. Stops 14. Dead, doesn't go through. And here's the stun shot. That's where you hit it, just slightly below center, and the ball doesn't move. I'll tell you what,
15.
Neil's shot was a lot more difficult than the one we just showed you. Even JV and me could knock that one in the middle pocket. Just watch the white stop dead. In that case, the black half of the ball. The atmosphere is, it's quiet, but it's electric, John, isn't it? Even though the other table and there's a bit of noise coming from it.
There's no other arena where we play snooker that can capture the atmosphere like the Crucible.
22.
And now he's on the black. He'll have hopes of winning the frame at this visit.
Well, you know, we talk about Ronnie being so focused throughout this year's Betfred.com World Championship, but what about this Australian?
29.
How focused is he? He looks totally at ease, totally relaxed, and with some of the safety he's played in this opening frame, he's showing us that he is in fine form.
$37. $38.
It's going to be a little bit difficult to clinch the frame just looking at the reds, John.
Yeah, he's got a 47-point lead at the moment with the colour to come. He's got the one to the left of the black that I think is potable, and of course the one to the right centre. So 53 points to lead. If he was to get red, pink, red, black, that would be another 15 points. That would put him 68 points in front with just 67 remaining. That's why he keeps glancing at the scoreboard. So this red and a pink and a red and a black would just be enough.
45.
Well, has he got the angle? Because the red next to the black is on. If he can just, well, just somewhere near the circle, and he would be able to get through to the potting angle of that red.
$51. $52.
So this black will put him 68 points in front. He won't be playing the pink, I can assure you. Well, the black will put him 68 points in front with 67 remaining.
Yeah, well, he's looking at the red near the middle pocket, but just pot the black. You know, you're going to cannon the other red, and it doesn't matter if you don't finish nicely on the next pot. Probably will do, but make sure the game ball, as John was saying. Looks as if he's screwing around. That one might go in the middle. And he's going to be a long way away from it. In fact, well, it's going to pull up. I thought it was going to slip in behind it. Well, it has. It has landed on the green. For the life of me, I can't understand why he didn't roll the black in, just cannon the red, and he probably would have pushed it into a potable position. I think he was making extra sure there and didn't get anywhere near where he intended the cue ball to be. And that's not the best shot he's ever played. Because Ronnie will come back to the
59.
table. He only needs the one snooker. Is that enough for Neil Robertson? I'm not sure.
1.
He could take a pink with one of these reds and still only need one snooker. Deciding to come back down for the black.
I'll tell you what, it's a pity there's one red tight on the cushion, because if Ronnie had been able to take a couple of reds and colours, but that red next to the blue, it's in a good spot to get it. Snooker in behind that blue, but because of the red on the cushion,
16
makes that virtually impossible.
7.
So there again, he might
not be on the cushion for long.
He might flick it out.
Now, a quick glance at the scoreboard. As I say, he doesn't need blacks. Now, can he afford a blue? He'll still leave himself needing one snooker. He's just checking the scoreboard. 44 points behind, 43 remaining. He just about can afford to take the blue off this red. Oh, where's the cue ball going? Oh, that's a bit
O'Sullivan,
careless.
24. Neil Robertson.
That's careless. So that surely is the frame to Neil Robertson. You could see it. Of course, being near to the cushion, he was trying to force it wide with a bit of extra pace. Can't believe he's done that.
1.
Yes, it wasn't a natural in-off, that. It's because of the pace he played it that he made it into an in-off. But he did have a chance there, you know.
Well, the blue's not gone in, but it won't matter. That'll be enough for Ronnie, I'm sure. Yes, you can see as well a very tense opening frame. Well, really, you could say it was nearly flawless from Neil Robertson. He takes it. He leads 1-0.
And I just show you how many quarter-final appearances there have been, not just in this event, but in all of the major ranking events in their respective careers. And obviously it's Stephen Hendry who has most. He's been on the scene longer than anybody else, of course. 123 times he's been at this stage in major events. But just if you compare the two of these men, Ronnie in his 89th quarter-final and Neil Robertson in his 20th. So there's a bit of a gulf in experience in that respect, guys, but you never know it from that opening frame. What do you expect of this match?
Well, judging from that frame, and that's all we've got to judge, Neil Robertson looks to be playing hard, competitive snooker, so it's going to be a tough match for Ronnie O'Sullivan, but I think tough for both of them, really.
Yeah, and no quarter given clearly. I think there's a huge degree of mutual respect between the two of them, and you saw that even in their dealings at the start of the match with one another, John.
Yeah, very much so. But listen, both of them will be looking at the draw thinking this is not only huge to beat one another, but also in the context of the tournament. I suspect that whoever thinks, you know, if they think they can win this match, they think they can win the tournament, definitely.
OK, well, it's first blood to Robertson.
And it's Neil Robertson who gets the second frame underway. And has he covered that red? I think it's pretty tight as to whether Ronnie could see enough of it to take the pot on. And well, there is a way back down the table off the 2 reds to the left of the bunch. And that's pretty good. I mean, Ronnie did precious little wrong in that opening frame. It was Neil Robertson's safety was so good, as indeed was Ronnie's, but Neil Robertson got the first chance and he scored 59, virtually enough to clinch it. Look at the total points. There's only 17 the difference. That's how well these two are playing. This time he's come up a little bit short. Has the green come to his rescue? Can he get his hand on the table to just cue to the side of the green? It's going to be a slight distraction, in fact, too much of a distraction. That's the first careless safety Ronnie's played.
It's not like Ronnie that, but he had a clear run to catch one so thin. But that's how he let Neil Robertson in for that 59 break in the last frame. Maybe just not catching the safety just right at the moment. The odd one. Of course, we talk about the great atmosphere at the Crucible, and we hope it comes over to you at home when you're watching the snooker. And I was reminded, sadly, it was a year ago today, Dennis, that Ted Lowe passed away. So he was the man who really added the sort of snooker atmosphere through his commentary, and he's still sadly missed.
Yeah, there'll only be one whispering Ted Lowe. And the great pleasure of going into the commentary box the very first time when someone was ill at the UK Championship, and that was many, many moons ago now. Of course, Ted played a big hand in Pot Black, which got the game of snooker up and running. 1969 was the first Pot Black. And then when they switched to colour TV in 1970, the game really took off. When famously Ted said Fred Davis snookered on the yellow. For those of you watching in black and white, the yellow is the colour directly behind the blue. I loved that.
Excellent safety shot from Ronnie. He got a chance to pot a few balls in the latter half of the first frame, but not when it was live, so to speak. He only got his chance when he needed snookers. He'll be hoping to get first chance here and get his hand on the table and make a break or two. He may have a chance there, because Neil has made the mistake by kissing the green, full in the face, although there's a bit of pressure on this. As you can see, he's got a straight red. The black's unavailable, but he could stun it in and play for the pink. This will be a test of cue action.
It's not far off a similar shot to the one that Neil Robertson got in with in the opening frame. Neil potted it into the right corner with a stun shot. Ronnie's going to have to attempt a similar one, unless he can get through to the one past that, which I think he can. Ooh. Didn't cue that very well.
Well, I think he decided to play that and sort of play it as a shot for nothing, and I think he played with side on and he's just misjudged it. I think he was trying to check the cue ball, put a bit of right on side on, and as you say, didn't hit it well at all.
And now Ronnie's probably thinking, because he missed it by so much, I should have took the straight one on and played for the pink. He's just worried if he plays that one to the right of the black that he may cannon into the two reds and finish nowhere. He's taking the more difficult pot to the middle because he can get through the gap for the pink here.
One.
Doesn't have to pot the pink. He probably will take the yellow and won't pot the pink until he removes that red that's sitting on the pink spot. So he certainly is tuned into this match. And once again he may elect to play on possibly the brown this time and leave the pink, as I mentioned, until that red's removed from the spot, the pink spot.
4.
Doesn't have to play on that red immediately. That shows you that he wanted to get on that red sooner rather than later, but he got the angle to screw back and come out onto the pink. Yes, he can do that.
9.
It's come up a little short though. I have to take the yellow or brown again. As long as you keep potting them, you'll keep winning. As John Virgo used to say on Big Break, pot as many balls as you can.
11.
That's the name of the game.
I think what's impressing me so much is you're bound to feel nerves. It's a big match for both players, but it's very relaxed, isn't he, Neil Robertson, around the table? Everything he seems to do has got a purpose about it. It's a good sign. In all honesty, it's very hard to know how Ronnie's playing at the moment. Okay, he made a mess of that long pot, but
18.
He's had very little else to go at. He's got to be patient and hope that that chance comes. But the way Neil is playing at the moment, you don't think it's going to come from Neil Robertson missing an easy shot when he's in. Well,
Neil Robertson, 18.
spoke too soon. So here is Ronnie's first real chance.
One.
Look at that shot, he hardly touched that, and he got the screw back that was required to take him onto the red to the left of the pink. I think we talked about it, John, about the new tip that Les Dodd put on for him. I think Ronnie felt it was one of the best tips he's had on for quite a while, and it does make a big difference if you've got a good tip in that cue. Well, people at home might think they're all the same, but they don't react the same. But in his last round, some of the shots he was playing and screwbacks were sensational.
Yeah, and of course, at snooker, you've got to play every shot with, you know, the one cue. So if you've got to have one that you can hit hard, one you can play little touch shots with. So, yeah, if the tip feels good, it does fill you with forward confidence. Easy pink, he just can't make his mind up. He'd like to play one of those 4 reds. And obviously, if the black was available, he wouldn't have a problem. But at the moment, he's got to concentrate on the pink. And he's just overscrewed that. He's just hampered himself slightly. Oh, cued it beautifully.
11.
I'll tell you what, Dennis, this table looks very quick to me. Dear me, it's like lightning.
Let me show you it again. One little cannon here will open those 4 reds up. Look at that delicate little shot. Could have finished a little better. The blue's off its
17.
spot, so he might have to head up for the yellow or brown. Just didn't quite work out as he intended there. So he's got to go way up the table and then come back down again. Well, I'll tell you what, he changed his mind a couple of times, and he didn't quite get up off the shot. And we know what that can do. It nearly happened there.
Yep, if you're undecided, get up and then get down again. But he didn't, as you say. He changed his mind, but never got up off the shot and didn't realign. Luckily, the red went in.
22.
This is it, you see, he was playing it and then he decided, but he didn't get down, he didn't realign. And it's not easy to pick out the potting angle when you're down. You pick that potting angle out before you get down on the shot. Anyway, you got away with it. Can't take anything for granted. I know these players make this game look so simple, but we've seen shots that have been missed.
Well, he might not be on a red here.
29.
This is a thin snick. He wasn't intending to leave it like this. Dear. Where's the black? Where's the black coming? Have a look at this black ball. Have a look at this little black beauty coming up the table. Thank you very much. Held his hand up.
Yeah, that is a bonus. And that black
37.
coming back as it did could decide the frame.
I'll tell you what, John, you just dream about that happening. You think you're out of position, and then, well, very rarely does something quite like that happen. But he's got to capitalize on it.
Yeah, but a luck never harmed anybody.
45.
This pink will put him 33 points in front. So he still needs 2 of these remaining 3 reds to clinch the frame at this visit. Doesn't look to be a problem.
52.
Well, we now know that they're both queuing well and they're carrying on from where they left off in their previous matches. These have been the two form horses, so to speak. I mean,
59.
It's wide open this year, the World Championship, but
60.
These two boys at the table have played some scintillating snooker. So Neil Robertson, with virtually one chance after some very good tactical play, won the opening
67.
frame with a break of 59.
68.
And there's a possible 100 just on now, and as we know, sponsors Betfred.com are giving £200 for every century to the Haven House Children's Hospice. That's 75. The association's chosen charity this year. And this will be the 53rd if Ronnie can clear these up. And Ronnie's already made 3.
82.
Neil Robertson's had 5 centuries this year. He's leading the century list. But this has been a superb break. Okay, had a very slice of good fortune when the black come all the way back up the table and over the pocket. But as John said, you need a little bit of luck.
93.
That's a fabulous effort from Ronnie O'Sullivan. He got one chance and he took it. And he's also taken the second frame. We're 1-all. Can't wait for more of this.
As my colleague on the golf, Peter Alice, might say, have at thee, Sir Percy. It's already good stuff, isn't it? Just let me update you with what's been going on the other side of the dividing wall, because Ali Carter has taken the first frame in this match against the Crucible new boy, Jamie Jones. First time in the quarterfinals here. In fact, first time in the quarterfinals of any event for Jamie. But Ali knocking in a break of 58 at the end to seal the first of them. So Carter, first blood to him in that one against Jamie Jones. Nice shirt, Jamie, by the way. But what do you make, Steve and John, of what we've been seeing on the other side of the table? Because, as I say, it's riposte and parry, isn't it?
It is, and you know, we've seen that both players in an exceptional form already in this championship. Robertson's long potted in the first frame was outstanding, a long ready knocked in. And O'Sullivan there, well, he's in amongst the balls, had an absolutely monster piece of fortune. I mean, this is a good shot in itself to knock this in and to cut it in the corner, but you cannot dream of having a positional shot like this work out for you. And the black's come perfect pace down the table, right next to the red. I mean, honestly, that is just a snooker player's nirvana. Indeed,
yes, and a little apology to go with it. When you look at the head-to-head matches between these two, 7 wins to 3 for Ronnie, but and significantly, he's won 4 of the last 5 in the series. So it's been all, the momentum has been all with Ronnie over the last couple of seasons. But how different a player do you think in the last 18 months or so has Robertson become?
Well, I think obviously winning the World Championship raises your pride bar higher. You're a different player afterwards. You've got to cope with the expectation of that. But I think Neil Robertson's done that very well indeed. I mean, these two players, as we've seen this tournament unfold, they've certainly looked to me like the two form horses. You could argue it's a shame they are meeting in the quarterfinals, to be quite honest, but I'm sure it's going to be an absolute cracker. I can't make my mind up who's going to win it.
Yep, well, so far it's been very enjoyable stuff. Hope you're watching it and enjoying it at home.
Yes, and Ronnie's break-off shot just left the red sticking out, and that's all he needs, Neil Robertson. Fantastic potter. And he's just nudged the green, and the fact he's looking down at the reds, well, it's a tricky little shot, but it looks like he's going to take it on. Cutting it back into the far left corner. And was able to hold the cue ball. He'd like to have been a little straighter on this red, but if he can't get through to the black, certainly the pink's available.
Well, he had to get quite a bit of power into that, but that's a careless one from Neil Robertson.
Don't shout out anymore, please. Thank you.
It might be a costly one. He took his eye off the pot because he was trying to hit the pack and then screw the white back. So Ronnie O'Sullivan back at the table a lot quicker than he thought he would be.
Just shows you, and we talked about fractions. If he'd have been straight on that red, he could have just stunned it in or rolled through for the black. But because he was just slightly off straight, he felt as though it was an opportunity to bring reds into play. And of course, the more pace, the pocket's not going to accept it unless it's very accurate.
One.
So he missed a red in the middle in the last frame, which then let Ronnie in. You can't make mistakes and let Ronnie O'Sullivan in with easy starters. That's asking for trouble.
No, that's not the best. He didn't hit the red he was intending to cannon into. Oh, that would be a bonus if there was a plant into the corner pocket. And he's looking to see if he can get nicely on the black and what he would leave. So the plant must be pretty close, even though there's a bit of distance between the two reds. Oh, if this goes in, what a bonus. No. In fact, he's probably pleased now he didn't make the plant because he didn't put the cue ball exactly where he wanted. Well, he's almost tight in the cushion. This is a tough pot. And the yellow is just as difficult if he's going to take it on, but you know, striking off the cushion. There's only John Parrott I can think of that would have knocked that in. He was brilliant off the cushions. The yellow was just a bit too much, but
Neil Robertson, what?
He's got second best. And at first glance, nothing easy to just nestle onto. Oh, can he get past the yellow to see enough of the cushion? This is going to come off 3 cushions to get into the reds. I mean, not guaranteed to get it safe. There's the second cushion. Here's the third cushion. That's near the black.
Oh, and a miss. Neil Robertson, 7.
Now, Neil's coming around to look at the one in the middle pocket to see if he can take it on and get on the black. Wasn't a good angle to. He would have had to play it with pace into the middle pocket to screw back to the black. Didn't like it. So Ronnie's going to attempt this difficult escape again. And as I say, even if he hits the red, not guaranteed to get it safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sort of line. Second line's out a little bit, but along that, that's where he's trying to nestle into somewhere near there.
Foul. And a miss. Neil Robertson, 4.
He's going to do well to land on that red and leave everything safe. He really is. He had 10 attempts at one yesterday trying to get out of a snooker. Eventually he did hit it. Has he got away with that? I don't think so. Had he hit that red full ball, it would have been easier than this. But being a left-hander, it's slightly more difficult. Can he reach this?
Yeah, as you say, Dennis, if he'd have been right-handed, then this wouldn't have been a problem. He's putting the extension on. It's made easier, this pot, if he doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball. If he can just drop it in, then you'd fancy him to get it. But, well, if he's going to have to sit half on the table, he's really at full stretch. I think he needs the spider here.
He certainly does, John, and he's quite a tall lad. Neil, he's about 6'2", something like that. Yeah, it would have been a lot easier. In fact, I thought when we first seen this, it was going to hit this red full ball, and if it had hit it full ball, it would have been so easy. But once it slipped into that position, it's the old spider. And now you can see the V shape in the spider where the cue rests. He's played it well.
One.
For some reason, years ago, they had a U shape in the spider, and your cue used to get stuck in it when you sent it through.
I know. And we played with that for years, didn't we, until, you know. But now the V, we just do the loop. As you push the cue through and the cue gets thicker, it was getting stuck. He's rolled the black in. He's on this red to the left corner, but if he's running into other reds, he's got a little bit of work to do. If he's straight, it's no problem. Just roll it in for the black in the opposite corner. Oh, he's straight enough. No problem.
9.
So this is a decent chance. Already got a 19-point lead. Well, the fact he's looking is a little bit straighter than he would have liked on the black. Well, it's not a very good shot that from Neil,
16.
because we could see the line of it. He was going to come back and catch the red on the side cushion. If he knew that, he shouldn't have played it as hard, probably.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to catch that red full ball rather than half ball. This is a tricky cut.
17.
Well, he's knocked it in, but tricky Brown to follow. He's such a good potter. He has great confidence in his potting ability. But that middle pocket, the one that he missed a red in the last frame, has caught him out again.
Yeah, it's quite a straightforward pot if you're just rolling it in, but when you're punching it in, as he had to do to get on his next red, they're much more difficult. So can Ronnie capitalise on that? That's a sweet positional shot, because he hit that quite pacey with stun, and the cue ball didn't move very far. And another delicate little screw shot. It's just a delight to watch when he's in amongst the balls.
Nine.
Imperative he got past the brown, and he only
16.
just scraped past it. But he's okay.
70.
Well, I suppose if he was straight on the black, it wouldn't be too bad. You've got to force it round off 2 cushions, though. He used to run a little bit.
24.
That shot he's played with his left hand. He screwed back with the reverse side, caught other balls, and made it look ridiculously easy. That's with his opposite hand.
Yeah, and he just gets down now. Sometimes you don't even notice he's changed hands. It's quite remarkable, the talent.
Well, I think I've said it before, but I remember before I retired, I played Ronnie in an exhibition, and he made a 135 break. And he cleared the table every single shot he played with his opposite hand.
Yeah, he did the same to Peter Ebden in the match, didn't he? Played left-handed. It's quite amazing.
Left-handed again, but this is awkward bridging. He doesn't really want to play this left-handed.
He's got to be careful with the pink in his waistcoat there. Jan Verhaas having a very close look. But it's in.
31.
And he's finished nicely on the black. I remember when he first started playing left-handed. Do you remember that kerfuffle he had with Alain Robidoux?
Yeah, nobody realised how good he was. They'd never seen him, and they thought he was
taking the mickey, more or less, yeah.
And he wasn't.
Yeah, Alain Robidoux complained, said it was ungentlemanly conduct. But of course, if you've got that in your armoury, then you use it.
Still got to bring a red into play, though. He might just try and do it here, pot this, nudge the other one out.
45.
The only problem is, we always say that when you pot a red and you get a red into play, you're never certain to be good on the colour. That brown was tricky. It was missable, and he's missed it just when he was getting near the winning line. It was because the cue ball was so close to the cushion. That's what caught him out.
Well, at least the brown has gone safe, and the pink's safe from Ronnie's point of view. Those 2 balls might just come to his rescue. But that was a great chance to clinch this 3rd frame. But when he cannoned the red out, I think he thought he might be able to get the white away from the cushion also.
1.
He took the chance here, and you know, he had to hit a little bit further on the right. He would have been much better. He'd like to take that one again.
6.
Might even refuse the attempt at the pot here, but he's such a good potter anyway. But that's finished rather awkward.
Yeah, I suppose if he fancied rolling it, there's a chance of a snooker behind the brown here. Half ball off the left-hand side of the red and just nestle between the brown and the cushion. But he's not playing it because he just doesn't want to roll it. A bit risky. Is he taking the pot on? Oh, not quite certain what he played there. Be lucky if the yellow comes to his rescue. I think it has.
Yeah, he just wanted to bring the brown into play and risk that, but the risk nearly didn't pay off. Where's that red going? Where's the white going? Has he flipped a snooker? Can he get past the yellow to pop the red?
Too many questions and not enough answers, Dennis.
Well, there's the answer there. He can.
Yes, he can pot it.
Well, he thinks it's too thin. You'd think he could sneak that in, but maybe it's just gone past the pocket. He's looking at it again.
Well, it looks cuttable to me. But, you know, obviously I'm not right behind the shot as Neil is. Just shows you. My commentator's eye must be must be fading.
That's a pretty good shot. Well, Hawkeye thinks he might have snicked it in, but he's never under pressure.
Not the best safety shot once again from Neil. Just get the feeling he's just looking a little bit uncomfortable, Neil, at the moment, and it just shows you what missing a couple of balls do. You know, Mr. Brown into the middle in this frame, and the red he missed in the last one. It just takes you out of your comfort zone. Because prior to that, he was playing flawlessly. Is this a snooker? It won't pot because it's against the green. He's just got to be careful here, because if he clips it into the green, then he could stay there. Oh, he could get through to hit it full ball. And it's a good length. Not a bad shot, but Ronnie, well, I don't think he'd be tempted by the cut, but if he can get right in behind the red, it's an easy safety. Play cushion first.
Yeah, that's a pretty good choice, isn't it? The white will stay here. Well, he didn't quite catch it as full as he intended. He was expecting the white to stay somewhere near the cushion rather than head over to that side of the table, but it's okay. I don't know if he can see enough to get in behind the pink. Maybe not.
And of course, the one thing that Ronnie didn't want to do was bring that pink into the middle of the table. It's a little bit of insurance for him, because at the moment, the way it stands, Neil Robertson 12 points behind, he's going to need the pink if he's going to win the frame, if he gets a chance in one visit. Well, not the best of safety shots, and he's been fortunate here that the Blues come to his rescue by not leaving the pot on.
Well, this is a good shot because he clearly couldn't see it. He had to swerve that, and that's what you call a controlled swerve shot. Well, what's he done here? He's mishit that completely. Mishit that completely there.
Yeah, I just saw the signs, or I felt that he was just getting a bit edgy, was Neil. I think his confidence has just taken a bit of a knock, but having said that, that's not Ronnie's best shot. He'll have to play the yellow, and that's not the colour he wanted. And he'll need a good shot on this yellow, because remember, the yellow will go back on its spot.
He's going to have to screw this back. This will test the tip. Well, the pink might help Ronnie here if he takes the pot on, because there's no way he could hold for the green, and he's reluctant to bring the pink into play, but he might just have to play the pot. I don't know if he can avoid the cannon on the pink, but it would stop the white.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
A very edgy frame, this one.
Yep.
Well, Ronnie Ronnie, I don't know how he didn't manage to get himself onto the black when he was in there, and then had to take that difficult yellow. You know, it's a very, very quick cloth, this, and he didn't get anywhere near the position that he intended.
Neil Robertson needs the 6 remaining colours, so it's not going to be easy. Black's at quite a distance away from the pink, so when he gets the pink he's going to have to play a good shot, but he's got to negotiate this positional shot from green to brown.
I think the cushions are catching them out here with it being so quick. That's a few times Neil's looked at the shot after he's played it, and as if to say, well, you know, what sort of a bounce was that? Now, are the cushions just bouncing a little bit? Because Ronnie's previous attempt, he went right out of position. He was playing to hold for the black, as we said, and he finished up having to take the yellow.
Yeah, well, I did mention, I think it was in the first frame, the table looked lightning fast to me. Now, there's no reason why it should be any different than it has been. You know, I mean, the weather here in Sheffield hasn't changed much, but it does look lightning fast. Almost to the point where it's very difficult to control the cue ball when you're sending it any distance.
Well, this is Ronnie's shot here. He's just playing a stun shot. Now, look where the white finished. So just struggling a little bit with the... it seems to be the pace off the cushions as well as the quick cloth on the bed. Is he going to risk this? I mean, or is he just going to play the safety? This isn't easy. Just the safety. Don't blame him. Even the way he can pot, that was the correct shot. Well, he didn't want to move the pink because he only needs the brown and blue. Neil Robertson needs all 4 colours. He's a bit reluctant to play the brown onto the black because it would keep the brown safe, but he's just wondered where the black would go. That's why he's having second thoughts. I mean, he could play that shot and try the snooker in behind the pink, but where would the black go? Will Ronnie O'Sullivan be tempted? He needs the brown, he needs the blue. He's looking at it. He's taking this on.
Well, super popped. And that will be the frame winner. This blue will put him 19 points in front with just 13 remaining.
9. Well, he's kept very patient, hasn't he, Ronnie, after that first frame, and he's taking 2 in a row.
And goes the pink. He won't be bothered about the black. Well, another very close encounter, but just a couple of misses unexpectedly there from Neil Robertson. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2-1 the lead.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, for me, is the most brilliant snooker player I've ever seen in my life.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is the best player I've ever played in my career.
Unbelievable what he does. Makes the game look ridiculously easy.
If he could apply himself the way that some of the others have, then, well, he'd have broken every single record in the book.
He's still underachieved, even though he's won so much in the game.
Left, right-handed, doesn't care.
Ronnie. fast.
You know, when he makes breaks, he's never out of position.
Best I've ever seen by far, but off the tail strings. When he is there, he tries his best and he puts on a good show.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, oh my God, what one do you want?
I've always respected him as a player and as a man as well.
Ronnie's Ronnie. I mean, you never know what you're going to get, same as on the table.
Not many people I'd pay to watch, but you'd be one of them.
Yeah, what a great feeling that must be for Ronnie O'Sullivan to hear all those great players, the greatest players that's played the game, talking about you like that. Bit of a chance here. He can get round the back of the black. Can he negotiate the pot? Oh, where's that cue ball going to finish? I thought it was going to be safe. The mid-session interval's coming up after this. Let's see if Neil Robertson can retaliate and square at 2-all. It's amazing they've potted the same number of balls. That's in the tournament. Incredible. It's quite a tricky one to hold for the black, so he might have to just force it around the angle. He's 7'8" away from this. And if that pink passes the reds, that's a beautiful shot he's just played there. Wow, what control that was. Not a lot of room for the pink. Well, he hasn't even looked at it. Well, surely it looked from our camera angle that, well, maybe not if you're directly behind it. Well, if that's, he's now looking at the pink, which tells me he must have played for the blue and underhit it. I was singing his praises of playing such a good shot, John.
Well, they say the camera never lies. It looks like it goes to me. As you say, it's one of those, if it was straight behind it, then it's unmissable. But I think there's enough pocket there. As you say, fortunately on it.
That was amazing. He didn't see that. First off, he was getting down to cue at the blue, so obviously he did play around for the blue. He is shaking his head, so maybe he's lost a little bit of focus. He's smiling to himself. He can't believe that that was available. It's not available now that Jan Verhaas has put it in behind the reds. As we show you it one more time, in fact, it didn't even go in off the jaw. It went straight in the heart of the pocket, so he can... Well, he doesn't necessarily have to play up for the blue on this occasion, but it would be advantageous. He's got the two reds there that are available, and he might just play on those, or don't blame him for that. You need to hit it a little bit harder than that, Neil. Sure. Now he's going to have to cannon the other red, which he shouldn't have 13. Had to have played, really.
$21. $22.
Just the one loose red to play for. Got an angle where he could cannon into the pink and disturb other reds. Just deciding to play for the loose red. Purposely left it low, so in potting it, it'll be
29.
cannoning into the cluster. Not guaranteed to be on a colour. Be a little bit careful with this. No, that's not good.
30.
Yeah, there was a couple of ways of going about that. Your way wasn't a bad idea when he was on the black, because he had a red as a little bit of insurance to cannon into the bunch, but well, he's such a good potter. But that's awkward. And that's nowhere near. So maybe he did miss a trick when you said he could go into them off the black, John.
Well, I think there's every reason to consider going into them off the blue, which you mentioned a lot of shots earlier. That seems to be the way of the modern game, but this was very tricky, you know, hampered as he was. I think he played that out of a little bit of annoyance. It's not going to cost him. Ronnie will be disappointed with that.
That's the first time we've had a reaction from Ronnie. And that was purely a lack of concentration on this miss. Straight away, he knew he didn't cue that well. That can be a little annoying, but he's been putting things like that out of his mind. And that's what you've got to do.
8.
Well,
Neil Robertson, 8.
At that pace, they're far from easy. I mean, bridging over the black, just to hammer those in the middle pocket, they won't accept it. I think he's going to fall out with that pocket. He's missed 4 into that particular middle. Can Ronnie put that last shot out of his mind? You bet he can. Look where the cue ball's finished. Is he on the blue? Well, he is, because he can get up for the red to the left of the bunch. Be a nice for him to pinch this one.
6.
Mid-session interval coming up,
7.
and if he could nick this and go 3-1, that's what you set your stall at. The little mini sessions, John. You know, try and get 3-1 if you possibly can.
Yes, and of course, what will hurt Neil Robertson is that Ronnie gave him 2 bites of the cherry there, but that's not
14.
broken out as Ronnie expected. So I don't think he'll be winning the frame at this visit. Glance at the scoreboard. 24 points behind. Well, decided to take it on. Thought the only red he could leave was the one he's playing. So thought it was worth the risk. We'll see.
Well, he's looking at the safety shot, but he's also got an eye on the possible plant. As you can see, he'd have to make it. He'd have to hit the first red to the right of the pocket. And he's done it.
1.
Now, there is a possibility here of potting the brown and screwing up for those reds that are the right side of the table, being a left-hander. They're a little bit more difficult for Neil. I don't know whether he can use the ball cushion or whether he can screw straight back from that angle. But these cloths are so lively, if you time the shot, he can bring this white back up the table. Well, it looks as if he can just punch it through. Well, Well, he's left himself a long way from this red.
5.
This isn't a gimme, John.
No, not by any means, and being left-handed, of course, that brown is just about where he'll put his bridge hand. So it's going to be slightly awkward cueing. Yeah, such a good long potter, and that, we get a chance to see that again. See how straight he delivers the cue. That's the secret of long potting. Look how straight it went through.
Well, it's not perfect by any means.
13.
So Ronnie had a go at splitting the reds up. It didn't work for him. Niels had a go. But it's slightly better than the position Ronnie finished in. He's looking to see if one of those two reds that are together goes in the middle pocket, but obviously they don't. So just, well, maybe it does. You bet it does. That's straight in the pocket.
14.
So it had worked out okay for Neil Robertson when he cannoned the reds.
Long look at the scoreboard, 45 points in front. Well, the red and the black would be enough. Well, he's not
22.
one in there, and he must have been thinking about that pocket. He's missed a few balls into that pocket. So taking the blue and putting 51 points in front with 51 remaining. So just looking for one more red, and that's a beautiful positional shot. Even if the blue does go on its spot, this red will be available. It wasn't. The blue spot covered
27.
by the red, but as I say, this red is putting 52 points in front with just 43 remaining.
28.
So there's very little to pick between the two players at the moment. Ronnie had a bit of a chance in that frame, but when he cannoned into the reds, he didn't finish
32.
on anything.
34.
We've had one century break and one frame-winning
41.
break of 59 in the opening frame from Neil Robertson. We've had lots of very good tactical play, so we've had a little bit of everything. And this
42.
match is just going to get better and better, you feel.
$49. 51. 54.
So just one or two errors from Neil Robertson, but he'll have forgotten all about those.
58.
Well, there's a trick shot to finish off with, but that doesn't matter.
58.
So at the moment you can't pick anything between these two players, and we go to the mid-session interval. It's all square.
Just give it a double look. Yes, in fact, I'm sure you heard Steve just saying he gave it a double look there at the table, because the guys in commentary were talking about the fact that there have been one or two pingers off the cushion. What's your view on how things stand at the moment, then?
Well, when we play on brand new cloth, and when the ball hits the cushion, because the cushion cover's new, it slightly traps the cue ball, slightly slows it down. But obviously once the cloth is worn, like it would be in a snooker club, then all of a sudden the bounce is faster. Effectively the cloth has less of a cushioning impact effect. So all of a sudden we get these tables brushed 6 times a day.
Yeah.
And also they run a cloth along the cushion, so the sheen of the cloth around the cushion covers is getting worn quicker than it would normally be. But it's getting to the stage where you are, you know, how often do you change the cloth? Because they are being changed more often than ever before. When John Higgins made a complaint, quite rightly, that they were playing unplayable after sort of 3 or 4 days. So it's tough to know how many times, but they do change the conditions.
What do you think of this, John? Should they be changed more often here than they already are?
I don't know really. It's the players themselves. When you're out there playing the game themselves, you know when the table's right or it's not. I think that's more the consideration of anything. The players get you still get report sheets, don't you? You can write on and you can still put comments on there to say what they like and what they need doing, and they take that into hand. And these will definitely be replaced before the semi-final anyway. There'll be new cloths on for the semi-final.
But of course it hasn't in any way spoiled the quality of what we've been seeing, which has been very high so far.
Yes, and it looks like the players are going to be prepared to sort of take risks to try and get an advantage. Neil Robertson played a very difficult blue, bridging over the top of balls, and then Ronnie O'Sullivan went for what looked like a very dangerous red that was close to the brown and actually missed a plant that he didn't know was on. And I think there will be some risk-taking because they know full well that the other guy is going to be taking them as well, and it's sort of kill or be killed.
Yeah, absolutely. OK, well, they're going to have their half-time cup of tea, and we're going to reflect on things on the other side of the arena today, featuring Ali Carter, the former world #2, who in the last few days has shown us exactly why he was a Crucible finalist some 4 years ago. Now, as you know, Ali's had a simply rotten time of things of late with his health, but happily, after saying that he couldn't wait for the end of the season so that he could retire, things have changed completely in the last 6 weeks. And with a certain Peter Ebdon now behind him in his camp, it's a bit of a comeback from Carter here.
We're all playing for our lives. We're playing to achieve our ultimate goal that we've strived for since we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. It's not out there trying to, you know, have a laugh and a few games of snooker. You know, it's very important to us, and anyone who's been a winner will tell you that.
It's all about that man, Jamie Jones. How pleased must he feel? He's in the quarter-finals of the World Championship.
I'm probably favourite to win. In my own head, I'm probably not favourite because I've showed no form all year. I've lost to about every qualifier I've played. So, you know, I'm going to be treating whoever I play with the utmost respect. And, you know, hopefully I can produce some good stuff again. I'm just delighted to get through this yet. I'll reassess tonight. He knows what it's all about, Peter, doesn't he? I mean, come on. He's 42, 43 years old and he's just won a ranking event. You know, you cannot take anything away from him. Or whatever you say about Peter, he's an unbelievable competitor. He's a genuine person that wants to see you do well. And to have people like that in your corner is massive. It's well documented. I've got Crohn's disease and I haven't been very well for quite a long time. You know, I've had 3 operations for it and it's really knocked the guts out of me, to be honest with you. No energy, no will to play, no will to do anything. You know, constantly tired, but I've come across this sort of exclusion diet. I've obviously got a bit of a wheat intolerance, so I've cut out wheat now, I've cut out dairy. So that's made me feel better in myself, that enables me to do my job better, that enables me to get results. So yeah, it'd be nice to retire as world champion though, wouldn't it? Hey, what about that?
Then I wondered whether he would retire at that point, who knows. Well, 2 compelling storylines, as you can see on table 1 this afternoon. Carter and the tenacious little Jamie Jones, whose never say die attitude, a very game player indeed, has seen him won 4 matches to this point, including 2 just to qualify. Well, early we saw Carter win the first frame of their quarter-final and indeed the second. Jones a little overwhelmed early on, it has to be said, by the magnitude of this occasion. Into frame 3 we go. It's Carter trailing by 37 points. Ken Doherty and Willie Thorne on duty this time.
1.
Well, the shot really is to play the cannon into the pink at pace, so possibly pink and black come out, but I don't know whether he can. Well, he's just played in an area. He's playing a bit negative this afternoon, Ali.
6.
wonder if he'll play it this time, Ken. The cannon into the black this time.
Yeah, he's got a nice angle. Knock the blue in, straight into the black, and bring the reds into play. Well, he didn't hit the black, but it's not too bad. Decided to go into the two reds close to the cushion, and then worked out okay. Would have been better had the black been an open play, but
13.
It's going to be very difficult to win the frame from this position. But if the pink or black was on its spot, it would certainly be a lot easier. Just going to concentrate on blues for the moment.
18. 19.
Well, he has the perfect angle on this red here to play either the cannon into the pink or the cannon in the red.
21.
If he can guarantee it in the red full ball, he'll play the cannon into the red. Ken's put the line up for me just to push the red over the corner, and then you can just roll the pink slowly into the pocket, but he hasn't got the full ball cannon. Okay, he might still play the pink, and we know it clings to the cushion, or it did earlier on in the week. Is it worth taking the risk? I think so. Just played the full ball cannon, didn't get it. Goodness me. I don't know about you, Ken. I don't think that was anywhere near.
Well, let's have a look at it again. It looked on the high side, didn't it? But it was only the pace. And that's why it dropped in any harder, and that would have stayed over the hole. Just gone a little bit too far. I'd like to have a nice angle on this pink to get over close to this red. I'm just wondering if you can pot this pink and maybe try for a double, or just maybe just lay a snooker. Well, would you believe it?
And Carter, 29.
Didn't either. Forgot about potting the pink.
A little bit unfortunate there was a round of applause just right at the end of his cue coming back from the other table, as if somebody had played a good shot, obviously, and that may have put him off. Could be a telling clue. He leads by 9 points now. Snooker in behind the black, or the pot on the blues available. Which one will he decide? It looks like he's taking the blue on.
Six.
There's 3 or 4 shots you can play here, isn't there? You can pot the yellow in the middle and try and get in behind the green as well, screwing off the cushion. You can run in behind the brown, run in behind the pink or green. There's all sorts you can play. He's decided to run in behind the brown. There's a clever little shot to put the green, sorry, the yellow near the green as well. So it's tough to hit this. Very well played. Could have been there for a while with that one, but he maybe snookered again. See, he just got the snooker. Could do with hitting this thin rather than full ball. He might push it right over the corner. He has hit it thin. Has he got away with it? Just about.
Worst possible result for Jamie Jones, for Ali Carter, I should say. Yellow makes him 16 points ahead. Hart may have skipped the beat as the cue ball came close to that blue, so just green and brown required.
5.
That was a nice shot, wasn't it? So, Ronnie Jones, it looks like his first frame on the board. Be
14.
mightily relieved as well, will he?
Yeah, absolutely. You've mentioned in commentary, Ken, haven't you? You never settle here at the Crucible till you get a frame on the board. So in goes the pink, and that is that frame on the board. So quite a scrappy frame. Both players had plenty of chances, but Jamie Jones gets that frame on the board he needs, and he trails by 2 frames to 1.
And indeed in frame 4, Jones really found his feet. Here he is on the way to a break of 127. He's the lowest ranked player left in the draw, the world number 36. He's sure to be moving on up into the top 32 after this performance, of course. This is his 5th century at the Crucible. Remember, this is his debut year. And he's gone into the interval level at 2 frames apiece. An excellent performance from Jamie. And Stephen John, looking down at it, he's made 5 centuries so far, and he's got 3 of the 5 highest breaks, a 134, 135 and 136. That's great going from him.
Yeah, and he's a serious competitor. I didn't know too much about him before he turned up at the tournament. I knew he tried hard, but he's come through this and doing really well. It's an interesting session for me, this, because obviously Ali Carter's coming from the Judd Trump match, which is the ultimate for excitement and everything else that's gone into it, and then he's got to come back to work the next day, and Jamie Jones has never been this far in a tournament, so there's imponderables in this session.
Well, there was a bit of stage fright, you've got to say, early on in that match when Jamie went 2-0 down, and we were looking at it and thinking, well, he really realises where he is now. And I guess, what's it like when you suddenly get a bit starstruck out there?
It can all go wrong, as we've seen sort of in this tournament. When somebody gets into a hole, it's tough to dig yourself out. Sometimes you need a bit of help from your opponent, which is exactly what he got from Ali Carter in that 3rd frame. So from his perspective, he'd be very relieved going into the dressing room. Got an interesting style of play, Jamie Jones, you'll have noticed. His chin's well over the cue. Effectively, the cue's running along his ear, not far off it, and it's arguable whether even his left eye is in line with the cue. Both eyes well outside, and fascinating how he sort of sights the ball. You know, if he's playing a cut shot one way to a cut shot the other way, they may look totally different for him, but he's very effective, and he's learnt a lot this season, having played a lot of snooker.
And he's certainly learning a lot from his Crucible experience. We'll look out for that, actually, in the next few frames, Steve. But on that match, as a marker today in the background, is Xu Jing, the Chinese referee who's here for the first time. Now, Xu Jing has had a wonderful time at this. She's scoring today, overseeing events from the sidelines. Chinese ref Ivy, as she's known by all, has loved her first time here at the Crucible.
About 13 years ago, when I was in high school, one day I was watching TV television, and the snooker match was on one of the channels. I don't know why, I just stopped and watched that match. It's a lovely picture. I like it very much. And I watched all the matches of that tournament. I just think I fell in love at that moment. Many years ago, I tried to play it myself. Yeah, I love it. I like to play it, and after that, I have a chance to be a referee, and I find I also love to referee. About 2005, Ding Junhui won his first title in Beijing China Open. From that time, snooker became more and more popular in China. So I have more chance to referee. So I left my job and I choose the referee as my full-time job. Last April, yeah, I was invited by World Snooker. They want me to attend more tournaments this season in the UK. Yes, I'm very glad that they can invite me, so I came and I live in Sheffield last April.
She's come over here and just had a bit of hands-on to see what we actually do in this country as well. It is difficult to make the transformation from the qualifiers into a main TV event. There's different positioning around the table, and there are a bit more pressures, and because the TV lights are so warm, it does affect you overall. But yeah, she's progressing very nicely.
She's learnt a lot quickly. Very smooth around the table. Very good when the miss is in play. Very good at her job.
It's nice to have more women coming through and reffing, and she seems to love the game, and she's good at her job, so that's the main thing.
You know straight away with somebody whether they've actually got it or not, and to be fair, you've got to have it to be a ref. You've got to be switched on and be aware of what's going on, and able to adapt, and she's very good at that, which is fantastic for us, because we actually need somebody who can go to the top of the game in China, because there's so many other refs that need to be trained, and obviously she's got the language to be able to do that. So it's fantastic. She's a really, really lovely girl, and she's doing a really, really good job.
Crucible is, I think it's a dream place for every snooker person, for players, for referees, so I'm looking forward to today for a long time. 147 maximum in my first session, first match in Crucible was amazing. Next year I will back to China, so I hope I can also do a good job in China in snooker area, and one day, of course, I hope I can do the final here.
And she'll be watching and learning Michaela Tabb, because she'll be overseeing this year's final for the second time. In fact, it is great actually when Michaela and Xu Jing come out together. They play Sisters Are Doing It for themselves, and they get a very, very fine round of applause. And if it's an all-male refereeing lineup as it is today, the boys are back in town. Thin Lizzy blasts off. Anyway, the boys are back in the arena now. Let's get back to this match.
Ronnie O'Sullivan gets frame 5 underway. Very tentative opening, the first 4 frames. I thought the first couple of frames that both players looked to settle. Of course, Neil Robertson made a 59 in the first. Ronnie made that excellent century, but since then there's been 1 or 2 misses. I think there's a lot of respect out there, Dennis, for each other.
There certainly is, and as you can see, pot success rate both at 91%. Very little to pick between these 2 former world champions.
Just a bit pacey there was Neil with the safety, and left Ronnie a chance here, which he may take on. Red on the left-hand side of the table to the left corner pocket, still across for the black.
He's looking at his tip. A few times he's looked at the tip. There's maybe just one other